Hello everybody, Annie Marie here. I wanted to do a fun little tutorial on editing this image of the adorable little Valkyrie. She's 6 years old, beautiful red hair and freckles, and I was able to do a fun little session with her. So I wanted to go over how I would edit this image. So the first thing I'm going to do is take this image into Evoto. And it doesn't obviously need a lot for, skin and everything, but I would just going to show you what I would do with that. So blemish removal, we're not going to go into there. We don't want to touch those freckles, and she doesn't have any blemishes, but I do want to work on the dark circles under her eyes. So I'm going to put dark circles and eye bags up. If you don't have Evoto, you could absolutely do this manually. But now with the ease and the amazingness of this Evoto, it's just a no-brainer for me. It just saves so much time in editing, and I'll put a link in the comments to Evoto. I don't think we need to do this. I always do double chin on anybody. It just kind of adds that little bit of shadow down there that gives a nice look to the chin. We don't need to do anything else. So we are going to close blemish removal. We don't do anything. Let's go into eyes. We're just going to brighten her eyes up a little bit. I always like to go up to 100 and then dial back a little bit. I always take the eye whites down because they can get too white, and then I would probably do those in post if I need to brighten them up. Eye reflection, that is a little bit bright, so I'm going to turn that down, and I think we are good. Iris flare, you can always work on that. That kind of brings up, that pretty tones, and I love kind of her honey green tones, so I'm going to bring that up a little bit. Red vein removal, she has a few, so we're going to do a little bit of that. You don't want people to look plastic. You want them to look natural. So we're going to do that. Okay, eyes, we don't need to worry about teeth. We're not going to do anything with makeup. With hair, what I want to do is add a little bit of volume to the side of her hair. Not the top. We're actually going to kind of reduce that up on the top in Photoshop. Stray hair removals, I limit that a little bit because I don't like helmet head, and that often can lead to a little bit of helmety head. So I kind of bring it up a little bit. You want to see a few of the strands along the side, which we do. I'm going to smooth hair a little bit. Smooth hair can kind of make it look a little bit too fake, but in this case we're doing a fine art portrait, so it's fine to smooth the hair a little bit. And I think that's all I'm going to do. So I'm going to toggle between before and after. So basically all we worked around her eyes and her hair, and that's, I wanted to de-wrinkle her sweater a little bit. There's some big wrinkles in there, and since you can see the sweater has like fine lines in it, it's really hard to do that manually because you have to line up those lines. So I'm actually going to take that up a little bit more. I think I'll take it to that. So that's just before and the after. All right, so we're going to do that. I'm going to export it. Same folder. All right, so that's exporting now. Isn't she adorable? She's so adorable. All right, so let's go in to my bridge, and we are going to find our Evoto. We're just gonna wait because it's gonna come in here. I've got a very slow computer, so here we are. All right, so I'm gonna bring that into Photoshop. All right. And we are here, we are good. I'm gonna take, actually I'll keep it on top of the original one. All right, so first thing I think I'm going to do is crop it. I like to crop first just because I don't want to be working on pixels that I'm going to crop later. So I'm going to crop this, and I'm going to put Usually I start with 16 by 20 or 16 by 24. I think this is going to be a 16 by 20, and sometimes I take away the 20, or I don't know why that's 20.6. Oh, I did the wrong one. Because I can do whatever size looks best for the image. I want all her hair and all her head in there. We're gonna save that for now. All right. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna go in and liquefy. So I always make a copy. So Command J is gonna make a copy. I always like to do this on a separate layer in case I need to go back and kind of fix things later. I have that ability. So I'm going to go up and just kind of, oops, I'm on freeze. We don't need to freeze for that. I'm going to do the work tool. And it's pretty simple in liquefy. I don't do a lot of the fancy lefts and rights and stuff. Now I know on the top that brought it down, but we are on a separate layer, so that shouldn't be an issue and we can fix it later. So now what I do want to do is go to this tool up in the upper left. It's the freeze mask tool. And I'm just going to freeze her face because we don't want that moving. And if it does move, it's okay because we are on that separate layer. We can always go back later. And I am going to work on her hair, but I'm going to freeze it just for now because I'm going to go in here and kind of bring out this one to kind of match the other one a little bit of more of a, and you have to be careful. You don't want the pixels to look stretched. Okay, so now underneath the freeze tool is the erase. So we're going to erase this. We're going to keep her face because we're going to work on her hair a little bit. Okay, what I want to do is accentuate the curves of her hair a little bit. So we're going to go here, and where there's a curve, we're going to just exaggerate the curve a little bit. I'm going to have a smaller brush. So this wave we're going to bring in, this wave we're going to bring out. We're just exaggerating those curves a little bit more over here too as well. Let's bring this out a little bit. This hair in shadow, you're not going to see it as much. And I'm just going to make it really big, and I'm just going to pull her hair down on this side just a little bit to match the length on the other side. All right, I think that looks good, and we're going to click OK. We're going to let that work. Okay, so now I'm going to toggle so you can kind of see what that did. It just kind of made her hair a little bit more wavy and voluminous, and we got rid of the little bump on the top. So I'm going to put here. All right, so now what I think I want to do is work on the moth. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to go in, make another layer, Command J. And we're going to go up here to the magnetic lasso tool. So what we're going to do is we're just going to select around that moth. And I think what I want to do is maybe feather it like 10. So up on the top, I'm putting 10 pixels. It's going to give a little bit of a feather. Okay, so now I'm just going to hold down and I'm just going to drag it. It's going to kind of magnetically attach to the edges. It's kind of hard to see the moth because it's dark and her hair is dark, but that's the purpose why we're doing this. So we're just going around it. I'm going to grab this wing, grab the bottom. Okay, when you get to the end, you double click on it. Oh, what did I, okay. I think I just need to click on it once. All right, so we're just gonna do that again. Maybe I can go a little faster. These moths are so cool. I don't know where they're from. They're from another country. But oh my gosh, they are so cool. I have a set of 3 of them and I did some fine art. Okay. Why is this not doing it for me? I rarely use this. There we go. Oh my gosh. Okay. So now we're going to Command J. So we're going to get that moth on a separate layer. I'm actually going to put that out a little bit. Okay, so now what we're going to do is Command L. I'm going to work with levels. And what I want to do is I just want to make it brighter so it kind of stands out a little bit more. We are going to work on it and dodge and burn a little bit as well. Let's bring up the midtones. No, midtones aren't going to work too much. I think that looks pretty good. Maybe that midtone right about there. Okay, so let's take a look at that. Yeah, that's much better. And I loved the color tones of this because the light tones matched her sweater. The red tones obviously matched her hair, and the brown tones kind of matched her eyes. So I thought that was a really, really good match. Okay, so that's the moth. Alrighty. Okay, so now what I want to do is work on her. I'm going to work on this layer on her. Oops, taking a while. There we go. I am going to get rid of this scar. For fine art, I'm going to get rid of it. If it was for them, I would probably leave it because that's something that's part of her now. I think her dad said she had a door, ran into a door or something. Poor little thing. All right, so I'm getting the, come on. When I hit my buttons to do my, get my tools, sometimes it doesn't listen to me. So I'm just, and, oh my gosh, my computer's so slow. There we go. Just doing a little bit of a, I go between clone and patch. All right, that looks good. Okay, so for her eyes, I want to brighten those up a little bit. I think I'm just going to use the dodge tool. I have an action I wrote. It's called the bleacher action, and it gets rid of blues and cyans and brightens a little bit, but since you probably don't have that action, I am not going to use it. So I'm at 30%. I'm just going to brighten up a tad. You don't want to brighten whites too much. It looks a little bit, I don't know, kind of creepy. In fact, I am going to lighten this one. I just reversed what I did because I thought this one, her left eye got a little bit too bright. So I just brightened the other one. And I see this little hair here. So what we're going to do is we're going to go to the spot healing brush. And I don't have the latest Photoshop either because my computer is so old. The operating system, it won't let me update my Photoshop. So, all right. And this is where I would get any like little hairs or anything. They're out of place. I'm just going to soften that part of her lips. Maybe I'll go up here, get a couple of these hairs. Like I said, I liked it to look natural, but I don't want anything that's going to be too distracting. So I'm just going to go up here, get the hairs. All right, I think that looks good. I think her eyes look good. I don't want to really work on those more. If I don't work in Evoto, I do have an action that I work with the eyes. So now what I'm going to do, here, I'm just going to keep it. Make this one smaller. We'll bring that out later to show you the before and after. Okay, so now what I think I want to do, we're just going to put these in a group and kind of show you now where we're at. Okay, so I'm going to flatten this. And I would suggest you save as you go, otherwise it can get scary if your computer like mine is so old that it eventually will kind of just shut down on me. But I don't want to do it right now because it might take a long time. So what I want to do now is go into the quick selection tool, select subject. Select subject actually does a pretty good job. I just want to go work on the background just a tad. So I'm going to Command J, so I work on the background. I'm just going to lighten the background just a tad, just to kind of separate her a little bit. There we go, just, that's all I need. And then while I have her separated, this side of her hair, the dark side of her hair, is also on the dark side of the background. So I'm going to hit the dodge tool, and I'll do this a little bit on dodge and burn as well. I'm just gonna do it a little bit. All right. So while I have her separated, I have an action for dodge and burn. You can do that many ways. A lot of people have actions. I'm just going to run that. What I do is I dodge and burn on a black and white layer because it's so much easier for me to see the darks and the lights when I'm not confused with all the color. So in my action, I have this black and white layer that you just keep on. You don't work on that layer. It's just there to see where the bright and dark elements are. And then I erase it later, or I delete it. So I'm working on this layer too, and basically I have a 50% gray layer, and I'm just going to paint and I paint with 10% white to brighten and 10% black, and I just use my X key to toggle back and forth. So I'm going to hit the B for the brush. I'm going to hit 1 to change my opacity to 10, and then I'm going to start with my dodge. So because I'm on a white brush, so I'm gonna kind of go into her hair and kind of. And what you want to do with the dodge and burn is just go into where it's already highlighted and just kind of add more highlights. And that's just going to bring out more dimension, especially like in hair and in clothes. And then I'm going to hit the X, and I'm going to then darken. I'm just going to darken a few little areas a little bit more. All right. So now I notice that her sweater is a little bit bright. So I'm just gonna, while I'm in my burn mode, I'm just gonna darken her sweater a little bit. And sometimes when you go back into the color, you can see that it saturates colors sometimes as well. So when I go back into, take out the black and white layer, I will go in and adjust that color tone if I need to. Okay, so now let's work on her face. I like to dodge around the edges. Kind of shapes the face a little bit more. We're going to really dodge a little bit more of that shadow side. Then I'm going to go along the nose a little bit. Now sometimes it looks like you're not doing much, but you are. Okay, I'm going to hit the X, and I'm going on. Just going to bring the cheeks up a little bit. Tap on her forehead. Kind of like accentuate that little divot in her nose. Okay, so I'm just going to toggle so you can kind of see what I'm doing. What you want is the attention to go on her face. You want to add like dimension, and that's what dodge and burn does. It adds so much dimension. So now we're going to go into the moth, and we are going to, let's see, I am on burn. I'm going to hit the X. I want to bring up some of the brights in the moth. Even though we brightened it a little bit, we're going to and I'm on 10%, so you're not really seeing much because let's go down the back side of him because it's just so subtle. But I like to stack my my dodging and burning. Now I don't use a pen tablet just because I'm left-handed, and I found that I work so much with my fast keys, that shortcuts, that with my left hand, that I've tried the tablet and I can't do it right-handed, and then I lose my left hand for using all my shortcut keys. So so if you can work with flow and stuff too. I just prefer to keep it on 100% flow and work with my opacities. So now what we're going to do is we're going to turn off the black and white layer, then we're going to toggle with the color, and you can see it saturated a little bit, the yellow, and then around her nose too. Okay, that really helped with the moth as well. So what I'm going to do, I think that's fine for now. We are going to delete that black and white layer, and then what I want to do is group these, and then we are going to work on getting rid of some of that yellow. So what we want to do is Command, let's see, where am I? I'm gonna flatten. I think I'm gonna flatten. And then we're gonna make a copy, Command J. So now we're just gonna work with yellows. So Command U, and hit the U. And with yellow, I'm gonna take down saturation. Okay. So now what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna make the mask black. So Command I, because then what I want to do, because I like the overall goldness of this in her hair, and I just want to mask off from where it's too yellow. So now I'm going to hit the brush, and I've got white, and I'm going to hit the 0 because my opacity was at 10 because I was dodging in 10. Hit the 0, it's going to go up to 100. So what I want to do is take away the yellow on her nose, on her cheek, and her sweater here. And if that's too much, I'm going to go back, and I'm going to, I think, work at 60% and then just kind of match there. I like the yellow in the sweater, like down here. There we go. So that kind of took care of that yellow. All right, and then I'm going to flatten it. Now the last step I like to do, this is probably pretty much good to go, but what I want to do is I'm going to make another layer, and I'm going to put that in soft light, and then I'm going to take down to 0, and then I'm just going to bring it up slightly, slowly, and it's just going to give it a little bit more of a kind of a kick, and I really like that. You have to watch because it adds like a contrast, and so sometimes the whites can get blown out. So you just kind of have to really watch it, but it adds a little bit of a vibrancy to it. Flattener. And the last thing I'm going to do is I'm going to check my levels. Command L. And I'm just going to, yep, that's fine. And then my blacks, yep, those are fine. So I always check my levels, make sure my whites are as bright as they are without being clipped, and my blacks are as dark without really being clipped. So I think we are good to go. And let's just bring this one up so we can compare the before and after. So there's the before, and here's the after. Hope you enjoyed this. And if you like it, please like the video, subscribe if you want to see more like this. So thanks for watching.